Hi.
Hi.
Would you introduce yourself, please?
My name's Robin Skillen, and I live in Montesano, Washington.
Okay. We're interested in talking to you, Robin, because you have one of the more unique stories of the people that I've met as you've lived in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So, when did you move to Canada?
My husband and little boy and I moved up there in 1975 to Armstrong, British Columbia, which is in the interior of BC, British Columbia, up from Eastern Washington.
Great, great. And something happened soon after you moved there. Can you tell me about that?
I got sick. I got a bug, a virus, intestinal. I was very ill. I was in the hospital for 4 days or more, and they wanted to move me to a bigger hospital, but I was too ill, so they packed me in ice, and I don't know what all they did, but I pulled through. And the deal was, when you move up there as a landed immigrant, you have to live there 90 days before your medical kicks in. Even though we hadn't been there 90 days, the hospital bill was like $200.
Oh, my goodness. And then the next time that you used your Canadian health care was in 1977.
Yes, I had another baby. And at the time we were living there, you went to a GP for everything, and then the GP would send you to a specialist. And so about the 7th month, he sent me to a OBGYN doctor to have the cesarean. And I had it, and was in the hospital probably 4 days. And you don't pay anything for the baby. It's called cradle to grave coverage. They cover you from the minute you're born until you pass away. And since Canada doesn't have a whole lot of people, 33 million in all of Canada, they want more babies, so maybe that's why they pay for the baby. I'm not sure.
Cool. And then you had another baby.
Yeah, in 82. Same deal, you know.
Yeah.
And was in the hospital for 4 days, and the doctor knew that I had 2 other kids at home, and we lived out on a little farm and had goats and chickens, and he says, I advise you to stay here as long as you can and get some rest, and you know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you did go home, then how do you do your checkups?
The nurse comes right to your house. She calls a couple days after you've been home and sets up an appointment and comes out and checks the baby, checks you for any problems, any questions. And I think she would come back if there were a problem, like something with the mother or the baby, but there was no problems. But every little town, our town was really small, like 2,000, and there was a little clinic there. So you could go in there for your shots for the baby, or just a question, or call them, you know. I think that's a really plus thing.
Yeah, I like that too. And here we hear a lot about the Canadian system having waiting lists. And so what do you know about waiting for things?
Well, there's waiting lists for elective surgeries, hip replacement, knee, other surgeries. But if it's an emergency, they get right on it. I have 2 examples. I have my good friend, stepdad, went in for a checkup. They found he had a big-time heart ailment going on. And we were, at that time, about a 7-hour drive from Vancouver. So they airlifted him down there and went to Vancouver, and within a few days he had the heart surgery. Then this same friend, her name's Kathy's husband's daughter, had a baby, and it was born having seizures. And they immediately flew the mother and the baby to a children's hospital in Vancouver.
That's amazing.
No fees for any of this. Everything I'm talking about is covered.
all
Covered. You don't see a bill.
Well, do you know anybody who's had a bill in the United States for this? Similar
Yes, my
situation?
friend's unfortunately young. Well, he was 30, had a brain tumor. He had to be airlifted from New York to Boston or vice versa, and it was $25,000. And he ended up passing away not that very day, but so the widow was just devastated she had 2 little babies and, you know.
On top of that, a bill for...
Yes, $25,000. They're not that far apart.
No.
New York and Boston.
No, that's awful. Well, thank you so much, Robin, and we'll be sharing more stories soon enough. Thank you.
All right.